asked for you to send pictures and reports to our Eyewitness portal. Let's take a look at some of the ones that you have sent in so far. Begin with this set of images from Lekki Ekpe Expressway here in Lagos State, showing the poor state of the road. Our eyewitness says the road became this bad due to the movement of heavy equipment. He also laments the danger residents and motorists face because of the heavy vehicles. He's appealing to everyone involved to intervene and come to their aid. We also see another set of images from Lafia Lamode in Adamawa State showing a collapsed bridge. According to our eyewitness, this is the only link between Adamawa and Gombe states. The state of the collapsed bridge, he laments, is leaving commuters stranded. Finally, is this video from Refinery Road in Warri, Delta State. It shows youths whom our eyewitness describes as volunteers clearing the drains. The young men reportedly take up the challenge of attending to the drainage because of what they face when it rains. Eyewitness reporter commends the efforts of the youths. We do thank you for these stories of the reports. Appreciate them and please keep them coming. The federal government says the Delta State government is working in line with its policy to concession major operations at the various airports across the country. Minister of Aviation Hadi Sirika, who was speaking after inspecting facilities at the Asaba Airport, commended the state government for upgrading the airport to meet international standards, especially of the runway and other ancillary works. With the closure of the Akanu Ibiam Airport in Enugu State comes an influx of passengers at the Asaba Airport, as well as the major roads through the southeastern state, a situation the minister says is being taken care of.
On its way to being fully concessioned. They have a feeder airline that will operate as the principal airline coming into Asaba and feeding other stations. They have a hotel, a hotelier who is coming to put up a hotel here. They have a tank farm here. They have a business park here. They have a cargo here. They have everything that an airport needs to operate. And all of these are from private sector. And if it works, this is a classical example of partnership with the private sector to develop our infrastructure for the common good of our people.
Meanwhile, the Imo State government has procured sanitation equipment to ensure effective refuse disposal around the state in line with the state government's Stay Clean, Go Green environmental sanitation program. At the commissioning of the items in Owerri, the Imo State capital, Governor Emeka Ihedioha said making Imo one of the cleanest places in the country remains a cardinal agenda of his administration. He also asked residents of the state to support the government in the drive to make Imo clean.
The ongoing Stay Clean, Go Green initiative of the Imo State government, aimed at making Imo one of the neatest in the country, is getting a boost with the acquisition of sanitation equipment, including street bins, compactors, and trucks to aid easy disposal of refuse. Gathered at the Hero Square in Owerri, the Imo State capital, are government officials, residents of the state, and other stakeholders to witness the launch of the new equipment. Former governor of Imo State, chairman of the Imo State Sanitation Committee, Ikedio Hakim, and the general manager of Imo State Environmental Transformation Commission highlights the achievements recorded so far.
The governor instructed that we must come up, as he promised, to show Imo people some of the equipment he has procured. Some of them are still on the way to be able to back his cardinal program, the Stay Green and Remain Green, and the environmental sanitation exercise.
We all know the huge benefits attached to an improved sanitation. We know how far it would go in delivering huge boosts to public health, gender equality, economic growth, and poverty reduction. Yet, within the last 8 years, such benefits were never harnessed, and it brought so much disparity to the economic growth of the state under the previous administration.
For the governor, the new sanitation policy is in line with plans to rebuild the state and make it the cleanest state in the country.
We of doing all this while and what we've been doing is to gradually rebuild our states. Gradually, it's not going to be an easy one because the forces of darkness obviously will not be happy to see that we have rebuilt our state. It is up to you to make a choice.
Shortly after inspecting the sanitation equipment, the governor also inspects newly refurbished fire trucks for the State Fire Service, which have been in disrepair. The Imo state government says this is one among other programs to come, all targeted at making Imo clean, with a plea to residents to desist from indiscriminate refuse dumping, but instead protect the environment.
To health-related stories, in 2018, Nigeria recorded over 100,000 fresh cases of cancer. That's according to the World Health Organization. The rate poses major pressure on the facilities for treatment of the ailment. Our next report looks at the state of cancer centers in the country and how intervention through the provision of equipment can help ameliorate the plight of persons affected by cancer.
10 years ago, this 10 billion naira International Cancer Center was established by the wife of late President Musa Yar'Adua. The facility was built through public-private partnership, but today, the center, which ought to be the first of its kind in West Africa, is a shadow of itself. Cancer patients can only access treatment in places like the National Hospital, which has radiology department.
Before 2017 December, when we started with our new equipment, there was a time in 2016-17 when there was no functional radiotherapy equipment in the country, and when they do function, they were very epileptic, including our own old LINAC. And people were going to neighboring countries, specifically in West Africa, Ghana, and they paid $10,000 to be able to access treatment radiotherapy for cancer. So what we are doing now is far less than 10% of the amount they were spending over there, and so relatively affordable. And we still have program for assessing indigent patients for discount, or and so on.
According to the Nigeria Medical Association, there are tertiary hospitals with radiotherapy centers. However, only 4 of them are functional. This has overstretched the centers, as the World Health Organization records 41,000 cancer-related deaths in 2018 alone.
We are looking at a case of having about 105 to 110,000 people being affected by cancer in a year. Okay. So which means that in this case, we are looking at both the old and new cases. When we look at prevalence, we're looking at old and new cases.
The Central Bank of Nigeria is planning to establish 6 cancer diagnostic centers across the country. The intervention is to ensure early detection and reduce medical tourism, which currently stands at $1 billion annually, according to the Ministry of Health.
We plan to build first diagnostic centers. Like you know, diagnostics is also the bedrock of medicine. We are building diagnostic centers in the 6 geopolitical zones in the country, together with one, that's the 7th one, in the National Hospital in Abuja. The one in Abuja would also have heart center as well as cancer center. And we felt that it's important to do this because when what takes people out of the country is purely about diagnostics.
For now, cancer patients in Nigeria will have to make do with the existing treatment centers until more interventions like the one the CBN is championing comes their way.
Primary healthcare system has been identified as central to healthcare delivery in the country and should be strengthened with adequate funding in order to reduce the pressure on secondary and tertiary healthcare institutions. The Medical and Dentalist Consultants Association of Nigeria is appealing to the federal government to invest more in healthcare delivery to improve the sector. The association made its intention known at its biennial delegates meeting and scientific conference holding in Jos, Plateau State.
It's the 11th Biennial Delegates Meeting and Scientific Conference of Medical and Dental Consultants Association of Nigeria, holding in Jos, Plateau State, North Central Nigeria, where issues surrounding the dwindling healthcare delivery system is the focal point. Reinstating the importance of primary healthcare delivery system in the country, President of Medical and Dental Consultants Association of Nigeria and President of Nigeria Medical Association calls for a review of the current situation and a way forward for primary healthcare delivery in the country.
It is imperative that for us to change the trajectory of Nigeria's health system, we actually need, as leaders in this health sector, to see how we can make sure that the primary healthcare sector especially is effective. It is instructive to note that tertiary health facilities in our country are being overburdened currently because of the failure of the other two levels of healthcare, primary and secondary. It is therefore necessary to review the situation and chart a way forward. And I hope the government at various levels will find the recommendations of this meeting useful for immediate implementation in order to improve healthcare services to all Nigerians.
For the primary healthcare system to be effective and serve the people better, especially in the rural areas, a professor of community medicine calls on government to invest more in the health sector.
Funding for healthcare delivery in the country has remained at below 5% for many, many years compared to other countries. And if we do not invest in terms of finance, then all other components of healthcare delivery are affected. You cannot build infrastructure, you cannot hire the right people, you cannot have commodities and supplies that will help people get the right kind of care. You cannot, generate information and store them properly so that you can use them for planning, for research, for implementation, and even for evaluation of your own project.
Strengthening the primary healthcare system through adequate funding will no doubt bring healthcare delivery closer to the people, as well as reduce the pressure on secondary and tertiary health institutions, which are mainly for referral and research purposes.
And now to the arts. Besides its usefulness to cooking, charcoal is also known to be a support to the body by promoting kidney health, eliminating skin infection, teeth whitening, just to name a few. It can also be used as a tool for art. And Stephen Osuchukwu, winner of the 10th edition of the annual Spanish Visual Arts competition held in Abuja in 2015, is a promoter of this medium. His exhibition, Strokes of Imagination, is a display of over 20 works of art, which tell us about lines, strokes, and texture.
If you're a lover of the charcoal medium, then Stephen Osuchukwu is your man. Even if you've not yet been converted, he will show you more reasons to take another look at this form because of the way he interprets it in his solo show called Strokes of Imagination, featuring over 20 works of art.
The Strokes of Imagination is basically telling about lines, about tones, about texture, using strokes. So that's why it came about. If you look at every piece of works, you see lines. Even with the white highlights, you see the white lines. They are actually strokes of different forms. Some are going up horizontal or vertical, some are going sideways and all that. So it's all about strokes. Normally, you can have drawings of different effects, smooth dots drawing, dot shading, smooth shading and all that, or cross shading. drilling, but this one is stroke. I call it strokes, you know, it's a kind of technique.
The interesting thing about it is that his love for charcoal came from an unusual scenario, but he was able to use it to his advantage and find his own way of expressing it.
Basically, I work using charcoal as a waste medium to create wealth over time, and it's really working well. Everybody know about the usual oil color, acrylic paints, and all that, which are expensive materials. You know, so many people give excuse of not having capital to start something. But I can tell you in art, it has gone beyond capital, having capital. There are so many waste materials. I'm using charcoal, which we know as a waste material for like roasting corn or drying fish and all that. But this is art, you know, and it's really working out.
The exhibition director of the Thought Gallery, Ovia Omashala, believes this artist has been able to use his imagination to produce images, ideas, and sensations.
When I saw the pictures, I just wanted to be here. And getting here, I saw somebody who understands what it means to create form. I saw somebody who knows how to manage values. And I saw somebody who observes his environment. This artist is somebody who records things, who is very inquisitive, and it takes it to a high level of detail, you know, that will catch your attention. You know, as you come in here, you'll just be looking at you and be looking at the world around you. You know, he's been able to bring our world to one space.
Same old story. Division of labor against all odds are just some of the pieces that reveal the strokes of his imagination.
Still ahead on the news at 10, Arsenal roar back from 2 goals down to draw at home to rivals Tottenham Hotspur in a thrilling 186th North London derby in the English Premier League. That's in sports news. Please stay with us. In sports news, the Minister of Youth and Sports, Mr. Sunday Dare, has welcomed the 318-man contingent of Team Nigeria from the Africa Games on behalf of President Muhammadu Buhari in Abuja. The minister, while receiving the athletes, conveyed the congratulatory message of the president and assured them that a reception by the president in their honor will be held soon. He commended the athletes for displaying commitment, competitive spirit, professionalism, and unqualified patriotism to count away 127 medals at the 12th edition of the Games held at Rabat, Morocco. Nigeria ended the Games with 46 gold medals, 33 silver, and 48 bronze. Arsenal this evening came from 2 goals down to salvage a point as a pulsating 186th North London derby with Tottenham ended 2-2 at the Emirates Stadium. Spurs raced into a 2-goal lead inside 40 minutes thanks to Christian Eriksen's early tap-in and Harry Kane's clinical penalty after Granit Xhaka's mindless lunge on Heung-min Son in the area. But Alexander Lacazette sparked the Gunners' fight back in the first half stoppage time before the Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang levelled the contest with 19 minutes remaining with an opportunistic finish. Earlier, Super Eagles forward Alex Iwobi scored his first English Premier League goal for Everton as his side beat Wolves 3-2 in an entertaining English Premier League contest at Goodison Park. Roger Federer has cruised into the US Open quarterfinals, thrashing 15th seed David Goffin 6-2, 6-2, 6-love in just 78 minutes. A Swiss 5-time champion fell a break down early in the first set, but won 6 games in a row to establish control in the 4th round match. The 38-year-old hit 34 winners, with Belgian Goffin, who could only manage 8. He will face Grigor Dimitrov in the last 8. Hurricane Dorian has hit the northwest Bahamas as a powerful Category 5 storm, the strongest hurricanes of modern record in the area, according to the U.S. National Hurricane Center. The storm is expected to continue to move over Great Abaco Island and near or over Grand Bahama Island late today into tomorrow. Dorian intensified into a dangerous Category 5 storm as it approached the Bahamas on Sunday. On Saturday, the Prime Minister Herbert Minnis begged residents of Abaco and Grand Bahamas to head for the main island to escape the devastating, dangerous storm.
I want you to remember, homes, houses, structures can be replaced. Lives cannot be replaced.
The U.S. National Hurricane Center says Dorian had maximum sustained winds of 175 miles per hour early on Sunday, with wind gusts recorded at over 200 miles per hour, and warned of a storm surge of between 10 to 20 feet, as well as up to 30 inches of rainfall in some areas. Even U.S. President Donald Trump warned that the hurricane would likely impact the eastern seaboard from Florida to North Carolina.
It's one of the largest we've ever seen. Its effects will be felt hundreds of miles or more from the eye of the storm, and long before it potentially makes landfall. It's going to go at hundreds of miles. We expect that much of the eastern seaboard will be ultimately impacted, and some of it very, very severely.
Category 5 hurricanes with sustained wind speeds of at least 157 miles per hour are relatively rare, although 4 other storms, Michael, Maria, Irma, and Matthew, reached this level in the last 3 years. Dorian has grown larger in size, with hurricane force winds currently extending 75 kilometers from the storm's center. And the main news again. Nigerian Air Force says it has neutralized a terrorist hideout in Borno State in continuation of its Operation Green Sweep 3. The Air Force says the operation was carried out after credible human intelligence reports, which were also corroborated by surveillance and reconnaissance missions. It also brought you a report on the state of alternative routes ahead of the commencement of the reconstruction of the Berger-Kara end of the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. And Hurricane Dorian has made landfall in northwest Bahamas as a Category 5 storm, making it the strongest in modern history of the area. That is the news at 10 tonight. Thank you for watching. I am Amarachi Ubani. Good night.